guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be doing my birthday book haul, even though I swear I just did a book haul not too long ago, but that's okay. So I am going to be talking about the books that I bought for my birthday using some birthday coupons that I got. And I'm going to be showing you guys some of my book of the month picks starting back in like April, I think is where I left off. And then some random books that I picked up here or there from like back in March and April. So we will go ahead and get started. So these first couple of books that I am going to start with are going to be the books that I actually got with the birthday coupons. And I got birthday coupons from Barnes & Nobles and Half Price Books. This first book that I got, which I'm really excited about because I have been seeing this one float all around Instagram, and that is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. And this is by Akweki and Mimsy. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but this is the same author that wrote the book Pet. And this one, I think is supposed to be like an adult romance, and it follows this woman who tragically lost her significant other, and then she starts up a new relationship, and then she ends up falling for that man's father. So listen, I'm here for the mess, but I've heard really good things about this one. Again, I have seen this one floating all around Instagram, so I definitely can't wait to get to this one. This next one is Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon, and to be honest, I don't really know what this one is about. I just know that I knew Nicola Yoon wrote another book. The only one that I have read by this author was Everything Everything, which I adored, and I adored the movie. I just happened to see the cover of this when I was in Barnes & Nobles and absolutely fell in love with this. I love everything about this cover. Don't know what it's about. Don't think I've even heard anybody say anything about this one. Definitely a cover buy, so we'll definitely see what I think about it, but I just knew I had to have this one just by the cover alone. Then the next one that I picked up is The Keiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. So I've never read anything by this author, and this is a pretty popular author, and so this is supposed to be like an adult science fiction, and I ended up picking this one up because I heard Tori from Tori Morrow. She talked about this one on her channel. I don't believe she was too big of a fan of this one. I think she enjoyed it well enough, but I am like on this science fiction kick at the moment, and I'm looking more for like the lighthearted, fun science fiction, and she doesn't really care for that type of science fiction, but I'm all for it, and this sounded like something I would really enjoy. All that I really know about this one is it has something, I think it is like after COVID or during COVID, but it has something to do, I think they're like on another planet with like some angry pandas or something or other, but it just sounded like something that I really would want to read. And I have wanted to pick up something by this author because I've heard a lot of people say a lot of good things about his writing. So this is where I wanted to start. So I went ahead and picked this one up since I saw it. And I think this is like one of those ones that had like an extra like 30% off. So I was like, why not? Couldn't pass it up. And then the last one that I got with one of my birthday coupons, which I'm so excited about, but I'm also really nervous about, is Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro, because this is one of my most anticipated reads for 2022, and I'm really hoping that I enjoy it, and I'm gonna be so sad if I don't enjoy this one. But this one has to do with like these kids that are supposed to have like these supernatural powers. It's like compared to X-Men, and it sounds like everything that I would want in a type of book like this, and I'm just gonna be really disappointed if I don't like it. But I'm so excited to get to this one. It's one that I definitely want to finish by this summer, but I'm really excited about this one, and I'm so excited that I have this in my hands. So these next couple of books that I am going to talk about are books that I actually got because I sold some books back to Half Price Books, and I was able to pick these up. And a couple of these I'm actually already in the middle of, but I will start with the one that I have not started yet, and that is Hide by Kirsten White. Now, I have actually heard some mixed things about this one. So I was really excited to read this because I heard, who did I hear review this one? I heard Mara from Books Like Whoa talk about this one, and I believe she really enjoyed it, and that's what made me want to pick this one up. But the more I see people talk about this one, the more and more I'm getting nervous to want to read this one because the reviews are all over the place, and I feel like I'm starting to hear more and more negative reviews. But I think this is supposed to be about like some game that people are playing where they are trying to survive. I don't know if it's like a night or like a weekend or something in like this amusement park. And it sounds really good, but I don't know. It is pretty short for that type of synopsis. I don't know. I'm still trying to go into it with like an open mind because it could still be like something that really blows me away. But yeah, we'll see. The jury's still out on this one. So this next one, Sundial by Catriona Ward, I am actually in the middle of right now as we speak. I am 150 pages in, and I can't even tell you guys if I like it, if I hate it. I really don't know. I am so up and down with how I feel about this book. So this is basically supposed to be about this woman who is not connecting with like her oldest daughter. So she ends up finding some very disturbing things in her daughter's room. So she ends up taking her out to this desert where the mother grew up and is trying to figure out how she is going to connect with her daughter and prevent her older daughter from harming her younger daughter. But then we are getting some flashback scenes into how this mother was raised and brought up in this house in the desert. So what I thought I was getting was something similar to The Push by, can't think of that author's name. I will put it down here on the screen when I think of it. But what I thought I was getting something like that, but with maybe more like a supernatural vibe to it, especially like with this cover. But that's not where this story is going. So I can't figure out what I like about. I don't know. I'm just all over the place with how I feel. Like at the beginning of this, I thought I was about to DNF it, to be completely honest. And then we were starting to get some flashback scenes, and I was like, but do I love this? And then I would put the book down, and then I would be like, but I don't know if I hate this. I don't know how I feel about this. So if you guys have read Sundial, did you like it? Because this just isn't what I thought it was going to be. So I really want to tell you what this reminds me of, but I'll save that for my review because I don't want to spoil it. But I might give like a little spoilery section in my review because it definitely reminds me of something, but I feel like it's going to be a spoiler. So I will leave that for when I actually do a review of this. But this just went way left. And I actually have a prediction of what I think is going on. But even my prediction is so left field. But I don't think that I'm far off because this book went left field. So we'll see how I feel by the end of this. And then the next one that I have is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. And so this one is supposed to be like an adult fantasy. I'm also currently reading this one, and I'm only like 28 pages into this. And so far, all that I know is this girl lives in this kingdom, and one of her sisters was married off to this prince, and she just happened to die from a fall. And then her other sister was married off to this prince, but she just gave her sister a warning to stay away from the prince. So something crazy is going on with this prince. That's all that I got from this so far. I've heard really good things about this one, and I'm intrigued so far. That's as far as I got into this one, so we'll see what I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about my book of the month picks from April up until June. So starting with April. And the first one here that I have is Like a Sister by Kelly Garrett. And I've actually already read this one. I haven't talked about it yet on my channel. I will soon. But this one is supposed to be following this woman who has found out that her younger half-sister was found dead in a park. And she basically is trying to figure out what happened to her sister. It is an adult mystery thriller. I thought this was fine. I'm not gonna go into too much detail here, but I wanted a lot more from this. It was one of those books where I felt like if you've ever gone into like those mystery thrillers where they throw like a lot of things at you to try to like lead you down different like avenues to throw you off of what exactly they're trying to lead you to, like which path they're trying to lead you to, but then they never go back and answer all those like questions. This is what this did. At the end of this, I ended up with way more questions than answers, and I didn't like it. So I have thoughts. The next one that I had for April is Kaikei by Vaishnavi Patil. Hopefully I did not mess up the pronunciation of that. I really don't know too much about this one. I know it is a retelling. I don't even really know what it is a retelling of. And I don't believe it said like specifically what this is supposed to be a retelling of. And I didn't really look too much into that, to be honest. I have heard really good things about this one, and I wanted to pick this one up just because I hadn't picked like too many fantasy books from book of the month. So this is one of the ones that intrigued me. And then now I'm really excited because a lot of people have been saying a lot of good things about it. So curious to see what I'm going to think about this one. So then the next one that I have picked for April is True Biz by Sarah Novick. Again, this is one I'm not really sure what it's about, but it intrigued me when I read the synopsis way back in April. But all I know is it's about a group of kids that are at a school for the deaf, and I'm not really sure exactly like what takes place there. But I've seen just like a handful of reviews, and again, nothing negative at all with the reviews that I've seen. But when I was flipping through here, once I received the book, I'm really interested to see what this is about, because there are a lot of different images in here with how to perform different signs. So you get things like this in here. And so I'm just wondering how that actually like plays into this story. So like I said, I've seen like a handful of people review this and have good things to say about it. So we'll see how I feel when I get to this one. So then the next couple of books that I got from Book of the Month are going to be my picks for the month of May. And the first one is going to be The Book of Night by Holly Black. To be quite honest, I did attempt to read this one and I DNF'd it. I did not like this one. So I can't really give you guys a good synopsis because I only got 54 pages into this one before I put it down. So all I know is it just followed this girl by the name of Charlie who came across this man that was murdered, and by the time I put this down, she was looking for a book, and it had something to do with shadows, and I was really confused in the 54 pages that I read, and I just was not interested enough to continue. That is all that I can say about this one. I had really high hopes for this. I just was not interested enough to even want to continue to try to figure out what was going on with this magic system. I think this is going to be one of those that I will probably keep around for just a little bit to see if maybe I just wasn't in the mood when I picked this up. But yeah, I just had to DNF it for the time being. So my other pick for the month of May was The Hacienda by Isabel Ciennes. I really enjoyed this one. So this one is following our main character by the name of Beatrice, who ended up marrying this man by the name of Rodolfo, and she ended up staying at their mansion. The mansion is basically haunted and she is trying to figure out why. Again, not going to go into too much detail. I'm going to talk about it later, but I really enjoyed this one. It is compared to Mexican Gothic, which I understand. If I had to say which one I would prefer between the two, because I have read Mexican Gothic, I would definitely say this one is better out of the two. So if you have not checked this out, I would highly recommend this book. And then my last two books from Book of the Month were my picks for this month, the month of June. That first one is Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier, and this is supposed to be an adult mystery thriller. All I know is a woman is accused of murdering her celebrity husband. I think she's like found in the bathroom, standing like over his body or something or other. So I've never read anything by this author. I do have another book by this author that I haven't gotten to yet, so this one just intrigued me, so I decided to pick this one up. And then the other one that I have is A Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, and this is an adult fantasy, and I think it's the first, I don't remember if it's like the first in a duology or the first in a series, but I just know that this is supposed to be like an adventure story, has something to do with the djinn. I have heard good things about this one. Again, I'm on like my fantasy kick, so I wanted another fantasy read, so that is why I chose this one. Now, because the month of June was like my 12th box with Book of the Month, I did get this, I was gonna say it's a cute bag, it's just a blue bag but this like blue little Book of the Month bag. Who can't use like another bag? It's just a plain blue bag that says, I guess it just says book pocket on here, where you can put your book in here, and then a bigger pocket, and then on the other side it just says Book of the Month. I'm sure everybody gets one of the, I don't feel special, everybody that gets 12 boxes, I'm sure they hand these out. And then they said that because now technically I'm a BFF, so okay, they said that now I can call like a special number and get like, so if I have any like questions or concerns, I will be able to call this number, and then I can get like, I don't know, like at the front of the line or something, I don't know. But then I was like, well, what other number was I calling before if I needed help? Like I don't know, it was weird. But yeah, so I got that back. So that is everything that I got from Book of the Month. The rest of all these books are just random things that I have just been picking up, so we will try to get through them as quickly as possible. So these next two books, I already had these books. I just wanted to have the same version of these books, so I just went ahead and ordered them in the same version. So that is Vicious and Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. I think this is like the villains duology. Right now there's only two books, so I'm just gonna call it a duology. Vicious is like one of my all-time favorite books. Vengeful, it's fine, but I wanted to have a matching set because I just have the original copy of Vicious, and then they did a whole cover change, because why not? But I'm definitely still keeping this one. Like I said, I just wanted my Vicious to match vengeful. So that is why I went ahead and got these. And then the next 3 books that I have is Mistborn Era 2, because I think the 4th and final book in this era is about to come out, according to Mr. Brandon Sanderson. I read the first era, so I wanted to get caught up on the second era. So the first one is The Alloy of Law. Then we have The Shadows of Self. And then we have The Bands of Mourning. This one, I think it has like a Midwestern setting, and I think it's like 300 years or so after the events of the last book in Era 1. So I think a lot of people, this era isn't necessarily their favorite, and the 2 main characters in this is Wax and Wayne. So I mean, I'm still interested in this one. I enjoyed Era 1 well enough. Book 2 is my absolute favorite. So I'm curious to see whether or not this is going to be my jam. So we'll see. So then the next one I have is The Wolf by Leo Carew. And this is the first book in a series, I think. And I've only heard like a couple of people talk about this one. And it's an adult fantasy, I think. And I know it has to do with like, I know this book is really focused on war. That's all that I know. The few people that I have heard talk about this one have really raved about this, and the way that they have talked about it, it sounded good to me. Now, I'm not gonna be able to describe it like they did, but it just seemed like something that I would want to read, so I went ahead and picked this one up. So we shall see. I hope it does not let me down. The next one that I picked up is Black Love Matters, a real talk on romance being seen in happily ever afters. This is a nonfiction, and it is written, it's an anthology from really popular African-American romance authors. I'm not sure if it's like their experience writing romance. That's kind of how I take it. I'm not sure. But it has writers such as Jasmine Guillory, Beverly Jenkins, Christina C. Jones. And I've seen a couple of people read this, but this cover is really what got me. So I'm still looking for like a lot of nonfiction, but this one just seemed interesting. The next one that I have here is All Systems Red, The Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. I actually already read this one, and I've already talked about this one. And this one is following, it's an adult science fiction novel. It's following this AI that calls itself Murderbot. It's supposed to be able to watch over these humans and make sure that they don't harm themselves until they realize that they're getting hacked, and Murderbot has to basically interact with them more than it would like to, when all it wants to do is basically do its job without, you know, being bothered with them too much. But it just wants to sit around and watch its like soap operas all day. And so when the humans realize that they're being hacked, and Murderbot realizes that, oh my gosh, I have to go help these humans. I don't really want to do that. The story kind of like takes off from there. It's a fun time. I ended up not really, like, I like the story, but I was really more so here just for Murderbot. Didn't really care for like the plot of like them being hacked and all that. So it was fine. I'm really intrigued by like the second one with how this one ended. So I think that I will like the plot and Murderbot. So I think I will like everything that's going on more so than what I got from this one. So, but this one was fine. So then the next one that I have here is Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. So this one I thought was supposed to be about like a colony surviving after a pandemic. And I know that there was like different time jumps and people at different points on, like, I thought they were like on a different planet or something. Listen, I don't know. But then I heard someone do a review, and it's like a collection of short stories, and I didn't know that. So I don't know what this is. I really don't. I feel like I was you know, there was another book earlier this year that had my expectations just thrown all off guard, and I didn't like that one, and I forget what the heck the name of that book was. I've already lost it from my head. And now my expectations for this are shot. So I don't know what I'm going to think about this one. Now, I did really enjoy Station 11, so I'm having a little bit more faith in this, but I don't have a problem with like short stories when I know that it's a short story collection that I'm getting when I pick it up. Well, this doesn't look like a, oh, I think it is short stories. Because I just saw like a chapter 1 on page like 60. They got me again. So I don't know what this is about. We'll see. I don't have any expectations for this one. So we'll see. So then the next one that I bought was 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. And I was like really excited about this one. Again, until I saw reviews. And a lot of people just didn't like this one. And this one was supposed to be about these group of people who, I think they all got this like letter that said that they were, well, no. I think they all were put like on this list. I think that they were about to die. Something like that. And it sounded good to me, but quite a few people didn't like this one. And I think they said it was like really slow to start. And I've never read anything by Peter Swanson, so this probably isn't a good place to start. But I'm still gonna read it, and I'm gonna try to take all of those negative thoughts and feelings and put those out of my head and just see where I fall with this. But I still want to read it and just see what happens. So then next we have, and can we just appreciate how like my nails are matching? So this has to be a good sign. But we have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. And this is his newest release. And this is about some woman, I believe, that's like spying on the house across the lake. And I think she witnesses something that happens to the person that she's spying on. That's all that I know. All I have to say is that this has got to be better than Survive the Night, right? Right. It has to be better than what we got last summer. It has to be. Like, it just has to be. I refuse to believe anything else. So, please, Riley Sager, do not let me down. This has to be better than that. So we'll see. Then we got The Children on the Hill by Jennifer McMahon. So this is my second book by Jennifer McMahon. My first one was The Winter People. I really enjoyed that. I read that at the beginning of the year or at like the end of last year, somewhere in there. And this one, I had really high hopes. I enjoyed it, but not as much as I really wanted to enjoy this one. And so this one is just about these 2 kids who are being raised by their grandmother, who is this doctor at the psychiatric hospital. The grandmother ends up bringing this little girl home who she is trying to help. And the kids are into like monster hunting, and they figure out that monsters might just be real. This just didn't have all that I'm going to say, because again, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in detail later in another video, but this just didn't have the elements that I feel like I wanted from a Jennifer McMahon based off of the first book that I read from her. Because what I got from The Winter People is what I wanted from this, and that is not what I got from this. Is this story fine? Yes. Had this been the first book that I read from her, I think I would have enjoyed this better. And then had I read The Winter People second, I think I would have been even more blown away by The Winter People. Would I recommend this? It's fine, but I wouldn't go, if you read The Winter People and you really enjoyed that, I wouldn't go into that with the same expectations as that. But if you've never read anything by Jennifer McMahon, then you might like this. So then the next one that I picked up, which now I don't know if I'm probably regretting this purchase, is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. And I picked this one up because I have another book by her that I am blanking on what it is. The Priory of the Orange Tree. So I have The Priory of the Orange Tree. I knew that she wrote this series, so I wanted to pick this one up. I picked it up. Then I saw Sam from Thoughts on Tomes. Her book club did their live show, and they didn't have really good things to say about this. So now I'm really hesitant to pick this up. So all I know is this is an adult fantasy. It has something to do with like clairvoyancy. So I'm not really sure if I am going to, I don't know when I'm going to pick this up. I'll keep it around for a little bit. We'll see if I read it, see if I get to it. We'll see what happens. The next one that I have is The City of Dusk by Tara Sim. And this is another adult fantasy. I'm living for like this cover. But I have heard good things about this one. All I know is it's about like 4 heirs in this kingdom that are like fighting for the throne, I think. And yeah, like I said, I heard good things. It intrigued me. Wanted to pick this one up. The cover also might have something to do with that. So I just wanted to see what I thought about this one. So I went ahead and picked it up. And then we're on to the last book. We have Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I also already read it. So I have already read, or I'm in the middle of a lot of these books that I'm hauling. So yay for me. So this one follows this literary agent who does not like this man, this editor, who she has had like not so good encounters with, and then she ends up going on vacation with her sister, and she ends up running into this editor while she's on vacation, and then romance ensues. This was fine. I am not on the hype train with this one like everyone else is. I personally prefer The People We Meet on Vacation. I've never read Beach Read. I don't think I'm going to pick that one up. I wanted a little bit more romance out of this one. This one, to me, like I said, she was supposed to be going on vacation with her sister. This actually dealt a lot with her and her sister, not so much between her and this editor person that she's supposed to be not getting along with. So that was my whole thing with this. People are still really raving about this. So if you are a fan of Emily Henry, by all means, pick this up. You will probably enjoy it. Me, I was looking for a lot more romance, a lot more banter between these two people who were quote unquote supposed to have this rivalry with each other. It just didn't really do it for me the way that I wanted it to. So I thought this one was just fine. It was okay. So that is all of the books that I have. Probably won't be doing another haul for a while because I need to save money for my vacation that I have planned at the end of the summer. So that is all that I have for you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.